So Dennis Kucinich, famed Democrat radical, I guess if you want to say that, so radical they didn't let him caucus with them. He has resigned from the RFK campaign, and here's the headline from the New York Times. Dennis Kucinich leaves RFK Jr.'s presidential campaign, and then the subtitle says, in a shakeup just days after announcing his independent bid, RFK Jr. replaced his campaign manager, Dennis Kucinich, with his daughter-in-law, ex-CIA. And what do they always say about you're never really out of the CIA? And I'll read what Bree says here. Dennis Kucinich, who has been critical of Israel's abuses against Palestine and of U.S. funding of Israel throughout his political career, is no longer RFK Jr.'s campaign manager. RFK's daughter-in-law, a former CIA officer, is replacing him. I don't know. I do know. I'm just saying that. All right. So here is the article on CNN. Dennis Kucinich leaves RFK, and then that's his wife, I believe. Oh. Dennis J. Kucinich left his post as the presidential manager for RFK Jr. and was replaced by Mr. Kennedy's daughter-in-law, a political neophyte best known for a memoir about her tenure in the CIA. Now, remember the whole reason why Cornel West picked Peter Dow was because they needed somebody with campaign experience, being experienced. This, I guess RFK doesn't follow that same sort of math. CIA person doesn't have any campaign managing experience. The campaign shakeup comes at a moment of renewed scrutiny of Mr. Kennedy's campaign. The political scion of one of the most influential families in contemporary American politics announced on Monday that he would be ending his Democratic primary challenge to President Biden and would continue his campaign as an independent candidate. Mr. Kucinich's departure came as a surprise even to Mr. Kennedy's press secretary, who was informed of it on Friday afternoon by a New York Times reporter. Wow, didn't know it ahead of time. In a subsequent news release, Mr. Kennedy said his campaign had benefited enormously from the political experience of Dennis Kucinich. Mr. Kucinich was not quoted in the press release. Mr. Kennedy's new campaign manager is Amaryllis, I think that's how you say it, Amaryllis Fox Kennedy, a former CIA agent, memorist, I think that's memorized, you write memorist, and documentarian who in 2018 married Mr. Kennedy's son, Robert F. Kennedy III. And there you go. Wow, I was able to read an entire article on the New York Times, but that means I've used up one of my articles, so I guess it was worth it, right? Let's go back to Twitter. So let's go to Sabby. Here it goes, Sabby saying, RFK Jr. just replaced Kucinich with his daughter-in-law, who's former CIA. Here's Ron Placone. Dennis Kucinich is one of the few who tried to use the office for good, and his affiliation with RFK was sad and confusing. I'm glad he's out. A daughter-in-law with a tenure at the CIA is much more appropriate fit for RFK. So it sounds like Ron Placone is happy for the departure. And then this is an older one, but I still want to read it. It's painfully clear that RFK, with his total support for Israel, is not a peace candidate. His own campaign manager, Dennis Kucinich, once called for Israeli leaders to be taken to the International Criminal Court for their continuous attacks on Gaza. Then Lori Spencer, who's a supporter, says the Israeli-Palestine issue divides our campaign family too. Very sad to see Dennis Kucinich resigning as campaign manager. And that's Lori. This is the CIA agent right here. This is like one of the times she went on, I think she went on like a newscast or something like that. But that's her on the right. And I'll read, meet Amaryllis Fox Kennedy, she's going to be RFK's new campaign manager. Very excited to have such a courageous patriot leading the way in this campaign to reunite America. Dennis Kucinich, thank you for all your hard work. And there you go. And this is just her. And let me read the caption here. She was on some sort of, she was in London, but on some sort of morning show. Amaryllis Fox spent 10 years working as a spy for the CIA. That's what that shit says right there. And she's now running the independent campaign of RFK Jr. I mean, you can't make this up. You can't write this. No hell of a writer would write this. It's too unbelievable. But there you go.